do one push-up right now and stop when your chest hits the floor. If that is where every rep ends, you are cutting off the bottom range that helps build pressing strength. So the fix is not more reps. The fix is making the rep deeper than the floor allows. By the end, you will know if your floor push-ups have topped out and exactly how to set up a deeper version that starts building pressing power again. You'll see the trap the floor creates when more reps stop helping, how to set up the deeper rep, and how to make that depth safe. The normal rep sounds complete. Chest touches floor, rep done. But the floor stops you before your chest and shoulders reach their longest loaded position. And that bottom stretch matters. Your body gets strong in the range you train. Longer range work builds strength across more joint angles. Partials mostly build the part you actually train. So if every rep ends at the floor, you mostly own the middle and top. The weakest bottom position stays weak. Picture a bench press that stops 2 inches above your chest every rep. You would not call that complete. Same problem here. A floor push-up can look full while still cutting the movement short. So stop judging a push-up by whether you touched the floor. Judge it by whether your chest can travel below hand level under control. That is what matters once strength is the goal. Otherwise, you end up doing a lot of clean reps that do not carry over very well. Be honest, are your push-ups still below 20 clean reps? Or are you already at the point where you can do loads of them and still don't feel stronger? Here's where this gets clearer. If you can already do around 20 to 25 strict floor push-ups, adding more usually stops being the best way to build pressing strength. At that point, the set drifts toward endurance. You are proving you can keep going. You are not making each rep more useful. Once you reach about 20 to 25 strict push-ups, progress usually comes from leverage or depth, not more reps. That's the benchmark. Not magic, just useful. If you're past it, the floor is often what's holding the movement back. This is why push-up numbers can climb while your pressing power barely moves. You spend more time getting through the set. Your chest and shoulders don't get much more from rep 31 than they got from rep 20.
Your lungs will complain, obviously. Your pressing strength does not care nearly as much. So if you are already in that 20 to 25 clean rep zone, stop adding reps first. Progress the movement by changing leverage or depth. That is how you train strength instead of just collecting a bigger number. Send this to the person who treats 40 floor push-ups like proof that pressing strength is sorted. Now, there is a wrong way to fix this. Most people try to get deeper by sagging through the low back or dropping into the shoulders. That is not extra chest range. That is your spine bending and your shoulder joint taking more stress. So deeper reps feel sketchy, and then you assume depth is the problem. It is not. The depth is coming from the wrong place. Keep a rigid plank from ribs to hips. Let your shoulder blades move instead of locking them stiff. At the bottom, reach through the floor so the shoulder blades glide around the ribs. That part matters more than most people think. Push-ups ask a lot more from your trunk and shoulder blade control than most pressing lifts, because nothing is fixed in place for you. If the extra depth comes from your low back, it does not count. If your shoulders roll forward and everything goes loose, it does not count either. The rep should feel longer, not sloppier. That keeps the deeper rep useful instead of making your shoulders or low back angry. Now for the useful fix. The simplest option is a small deficit. Same push-up pattern, but your hands go on 2 low, stable surfaces like blocks, plates, or parallettes. That gives your chest room to travel below your hands, and that missing bottom range is the whole point. Your chest and the front of your shoulders are longest there. That's where the tension is highest and where standard floor reps cut you off. When you get that range back, the push-up becomes a better strength builder again. Lengthened partials produced about twice the muscle growth of full-range work in 2 separate studies. Different muscles, same pattern. The stretched part does a lot of the work. So set your hands on two low, stable surfaces and aim for your chest to go 2 to 3 inches below hand level on every rep. Stay tight, lower under control, let the shoulder blades move, then press all the way back up. That one change is often more useful than another 20 floor reps. If that just cleared up why more reps stopped working, that's worth a like.
And here is the twist. The push-up most people call complete becomes a partial once you're strong enough for high, clean reps. That is why the harder path is often not more suffering on the floor. It is better depth, slightly less dramatic, much more useful. If you like training advice that strips popular exercises down to the part that actually builds size and strength, consider subscribing. Once you own clean, deeper reps on a small deficit, make them harder in a simple order. First, pause for a beat at the bottom. Second, slow the lowering. Third, raise your feet. After that, move to one-side biased versions like archer push-ups while keeping the same below hand depth. Keep the range. That is the part you're protecting. A short pause at the bottom makes you own the hardest position instead of bouncing through it. A slower lowering gives you more control where people usually lose it. Raising your feet shifts more load into the rep without removing the deeper bottom. And one-side biased versions make each arm do more work, but only if the depth stays honest. That last part matters. A harder variation is not better if you lose the reason for changing the exercise in the first place. If the rep gets shallower as it gets harder, you're back where you started. More effort, same missing bottom range. You also don't need a huge deficit. Bigger is not automatically better here. Start small and earn the extra depth. If you go so deep that you lose your body position, shrug up, or feel your low back taking over, you went too far. Clean and controlled wins. And if your shoulders have been grumpy with push-ups before, this is where patience helps. Use a range you can control. Keep the rib cage down, let the shoulder blades move naturally. Build depth a little at a time. That is how the deeper rep starts feeling strong instead of awkward. If your push-ups stopped building strength, the problem is not always effort. Often the floor is cutting off the bottom range that actually needs training. Once standard reps get too easy, make the rep deeper, not just longer. The rule is simple. When push-ups stop making you stronger, don't chase more floor reps. Remove the floor from the problem and train the deeper bottom range.